Hey planty peeps, welcome or welcome back to NichesPlants. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Kanisha, also known as Niche, and we talk about plants because we love plants and we're living that planty life. So if that's of interest to you, do hit that bell button, subscribe so you don't miss out. So before I get started, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a good new year. Obviously 2020 is behind us and we're hoping 2021 is filled with love, freedom, and a lot more pleasant things. So I'm wishing you a great year ahead. Now today's video is my houseplant wish list 2021, obviously, but it's not just the wish list, it's what I call the shooting star wish list. Now for those of you that don't know what is a shooting star is basically a star that's falling through the sky, and once it kind of passes through the Earth's atmosphere, it starts to burn and then leaves a trail of bright light and then dissipates and disappears. That is a shooting star, and they're known to be rare to see, but also if you do see one, it's supposed to kind of give you luck and good hope and like great things for the future year ahead. So my shooting star wish list is that because if I see these plants, I'm going to want to grab them because they're like the utmost wanted plants of all the plants on my wish list. Now if I'm honest with you, my wish list probably has about 25 to 30 plants on it. Now if you want me to do a full wish list, I can, let me know. Otherwise you can go to my Instagram and I've got a wish list highlight and you can see all my wish lists there. I'll be updating that shortly, but these guys today are the creme de la creme, as they say. So let's get into it. So the first one, now these aren't in any particular order, but this plant, if I was only to get one plant throughout the year, this plant would be it. It's been on my wish list since day one, and that's the Philodendron Belay Tiverigata. Now I love this because it's kind of, I was looking at this picture and it reminds me a bit of patchwork, and it's a bit kind of sketchy, and I like that with the variegation because the variegation, you kind of don't know what you're going to get. It can be kind of patchy, it could be sectorial, you could get a half moon, or you could just get a little spot of variegation and then the next leaf is crazy, you don't really know. I love it also because it's got the orange stems, and I just think it's really iconic and it's very much of a statement piece. It's kind of like architectural, you know what I mean? It kind of just could sit there by itself and just look like a piece of art, which it basically is. So I did actually have a chance of buying this early in the year, but I wouldn't say I'm picky, but it didn't have as much variegation on it as I would have liked, so I passed that plant up. Part of me is, because I know prices have gone crazy for various reasons, I'm a bit like, oh, maybe you should have just got it. But then I'm like, no, because if you did and it doesn't really have the variegation you want, you'd have been like, but then again, you can't predict what the next leaf is going to be like. But then I didn't know if that was just because there's not much variegation within the plant or because it was just doing its thing. So yeah, anyway, I'm in search of that plant. If you see one that's for sale or know where I might be able to get one, throw it down in the comments or let me know on IG, it'd be much appreciated. So the next plant is the Anthurium Splendidum. Now I like this plant because it's so cute and itty bitty and heart shaped, and it just looks really, really cute, but also I love the embossed pebbled effects. Now it actually reminds me of like knitting wool, like, you know, if you're knitting a little cardigan, that's kind of what the texture looks like to me. But I just like it. I think it's really cute, it's really unique. I don't know anyone who has one. A lot of people that I've seen on Instagram that have it are in America, so I'm in search of that again. That I think it'd just be a lovely piece to have within my collection. The next is the Anthurium Metallicum. Now this plant, people, you might think, oh, there's nothing special about that, but I think I love the pendant shape. I love that it's got a bit of a sheen, not too much, but I just feel like it's one of those pieces. I feel like it's a staple in the collection. You kind of just have one and it sits there amongst the rest and it just helps to complete the collection. And it's always been one that I've wanted. And then I thought, do I really want it? If someone said to me, scratch it off the list, my automatic response would be like, no, I want that. So I kind of knew for myself, yeah, that's definitely one to keep on the list as the shooting star. So I'm definitely looking for one of those. And I guess I wouldn't mind if it was small or medium size, to be honest. Like I wouldn't want it to be huge, and I know they get really big, but I'd like to get it at a, you know, a little bitty juvenile, so then I can see it grow. My next plant is the Miranta Masagiana. I think that's how you say it, probably wrong, but it's also known as the Miranta Black. Now this, I think it's just so eye-catching. It reminds me of, like, this is gonna sound really weird, but a snake. Like, you know, like if you go into the jungle and the snakes, the colors on their skin is so camouflaged that you'd be looking at it and not know that the snake's watching you. This is what it reminds me of. The colors are so intriguing and they draw you in. It's just like, oh, I feel like there's an animal gonna pop out somewhere. That might sound crazy, but that's what it makes me think, and it just feels, it has a little jungle vibe to it, which I like. And then following that is the Miranta Silver Band. Now, I love this plant because I just feel like it looks so elegant and it just looks so nice. It could be amongst other plants or it could be by themselves, and I think the Mirantas are plants that you could put together and they would complement each other. But these two Mirantas I definitely want. I've got the variegated Miranta, which is in my bathroom, and I want these other two to be in my bathroom as well. They'd all have a set shelf. They would just hang and just overlap each other, and I think they would look really nice. So that's why I want these two, because they just stand out and I think they're really cool. Now following that is the Alocasia Mellow. I saw this again. Do you know what, funny enough, all the plants I've seen of the Mellow is only one leaf. Not that that's a problem, I think it looks nice, but we all know with Alocasias, they grow a few and then one might die off, etc, etc. But the Mellow is lovely because it's also known as, like, I think its nickname is like rhino skin, and you can kind of tell why. And a lot of people confuse this with the Meharani, but I feel kind of smart because I looked at the Meharani and I looked at the Mellow and I was like, the Meharani is basically like the Alocasia Black Velvet but matte. So I thought, let me do a bit of research, and to my pleasant surprise, the Meharani is actually a hybrid between the Alocasia Black Velvet and the Alocasia Mellow, hence why it looks like the Black Velvet but it's matte, because it gets the matte kind of genetics from the Mellow. So they are actually two different plants, but it is the Mellow that I would like. The other plant that I would like, which is again another Alocasia. Now this one I've seen probably about a year and a bit ago, and I thought, oh, that's really nice, but then part of me was like, oh, but where would I put it? And it grows really big, and you know, I think I was kind of overthinking. And this year I saw it again, and well, I've seen it a few times, and I was like, yeah, this plant's kind of just found its way into my heart and just kind of sat in the corner and was just like, I'll wait until you realize how nice I am. And that is the Alocasia Regal Shield. I love this because of the dark foliage. Also, the newest leaves come through and the veins are like a luminous lime green, which is really beautiful, especially against the dark leaf. And then it fades into the darker kind of, I think it's suede, it's not matte, it's suede. And obviously when the light hits it, you get that sheen, and it is really beautiful. And I thought, where'd I put it? And I was like, put it in my living room because a corner like this, and then I thought, plant room. Now I've got a second bedroom in my house. Currently I would use it as kind of a guest room / storage. I need to kind of sort it out, but I thought actually I'd like that as the plant room, and it would just take up a corner in there, which would be really lovely. So when I actually get around and figure out how I'm going to rearrange, and what's the word I'm looking for, do the makeover, I will record it for you guys, because I do want in that room to basically have a place where I can film for you guys as well as edit, and then have like the other part of the room to be where I can kind of repot, propagate, like just have my plant shelves and all of that. So I kind of just need to sketch it out and design it, and then we can start that journey. So yes, the Alocasia Regal Shield will go in there. Now this next plant, I saw it and it stood out to me because it's so simplistic and I think it looks quite elegant, and that is the Hoya Silver Dollar. This plant is beautiful, like it's kind of minty, ghostly silver in color, but also has a hue of pink around the leaves. But when sun's stressed, it gets like a dusty pink, which I think looks really nice. And I'd like just to have like a Hoya shelf where I just have all these different Hoyas, like just each so prominent and so unique on their own that they stand out when you look at them, but as a whole they just look beautiful. And this would be one of them, the Hoya Silver Dollar. I know they're known to be quite expensive, but I'm keeping an eye out. So this next plant I saw or found on Google a couple of days ago, and I've seen a few people on Insta with it, but it's not like, there's not loads of people with it, and it's the Anthurium debilis or dubilis. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it caught my eye as this new leaf looks like a kind of, again, dusty pink, brown, reddish undertone of green, and I like tones. Textures and tones are my thing, and this leaf I was just like, I really like it. And then when it's kind of getting more mature, or basically the leaf is developing, the veins are like a bright pink with the lime green, and then they darken to a really kind of dark, what kind of green is it? Then it's more of a dark green. Now this plant somewhat reminds me of the Anthurium luxurians. I'm not keen on that plant, I've got to say. It's nice, it's, you know, but it's not one of those that I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want it. But this plant I feel like is the dampened version of that, because it's got the texture in the leaves, and the leaves are embossed, but it's not too much, it's just a little more subtle, and that's why I like it. But also as the leaves come out, if they're looking like this, it's a definite yes. So yeah, that's a new one for me, and one I'm definitely looking for. So again, if you see one, hit me up on Instagram or let me know in the comments below. And if any of these plants you want, let me know, because if I see any and I get one and I see others, I'm going to be like, hey guys, you can get this plant here. So either again, let me know on Instagram or let me know in the comments, and I will keep an eye out for you guys. The next plant, another Anthurium. This was in my first wish list, and I came across it earlier this year, and I kind of beat myself up about it because I saw it on a friend's Insta who's in the Netherlands, and she was selling it. I was like, oh, that plant's really nice, what is it? And I delayed on purchasing it, and obviously someone else bought it, and then I realized it's an Anthurium Dressleri hybrid Forgetii. And I'm like, Kanisha, you should have just got it. Like, it was so beautiful. Like, look at it, the tones of this, like the deep kind of underlining iridescence, sort of. I just think it's beautiful, and the way the leaves, again, embossed, but they're kind of embossed in larger sections, I just think looks really, really nice. So again, that's one I definitely want, hence why it's still on my wish list, and it's on the Shooting Star list, because if I see it, it's mine. Okay, so this next plant, one that I kind of want to collect the different varieties, is the Hoya Compactor Miranta Masagiana. I think I've said that correctly. Now, I like this plant because I love the shape of the compactor. Crinkle leaves is just intrinsic somewhat in its design, but also these leaves have the variegation of the green and a sort of cream, which I think is really, really nice. And also it seems that the newest part of that stem, it has a hue of pink, and it was all kind of pinkish red, which I think is really nice. So that's one that I definitely am on the lookout for. The second, which is also a Hoya Compactor, is the Jody Silver. Oh, look at this. Like, again, do you know what it reminds me of? It's like, well, you know when you're going to like lottery or whatever, you get those little cards and it's like the scratch card, you have the scratch of the silver. It kind of reminds me of that, but I like it because you've got the different depths of color. It's got the silver aspect to it, but also you've got the really dark green, and then just like a mint silver green, and I really like it. And I've got the standard Hoya Compactor, so to add these two to it would be really amazing. If there are oh my gosh, if there are any other Hoya Compactors that I'm not aware of, do let me know, because I've got a feeling like there's another one, but I'm not sure what it is. So if anyone knows, do let me know. But yeah, I would like to collect all the Hoya Compactors. That would be great. So these two are definitely on my list because that will help me get to that. Now, this plant, I know this is like number 13. I love, because I feel like I've got a little connection with it, is the Anthurium Carib Queen. Now, I'm from the Caribbean, so as soon as I came across this plant, I was like, yeah, gotta have it, come on. So I love it because it's got a slight iridescence to it. Again, it's got that texture, that kind of cobbled effect on it. Also, the shape, it's kind of got the heart leaf at the top, and then it comes down into that pendant shape, and I think it's quite elegant in how it just kind of stands. Its growth pattern I do like. I know some kind of sprawl out quite a bit, but I feel like, well, from those that I've seen with the Carib Queen, the stems grow up like, not the stem, that's the stem, and then the petiole will grow like this, and then the plant hangs down from it. So I feel like they don't spread out too much, but they're quite compact, but they still have a presence about it, which I really like. Again, this plant, any of these plants, to be honest, I would be happy to find in a juvenile form, medium size, you know, kind of anywhere from 10 to 20 centimeters would be great. Even the compactors, anything smaller than that, even if it's cutting, I would be happy with that, just to put it out there. Now, this plant I came across yesterday, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is really weird, but a nice weird. And that is the Hoya Underlatter. This plant, I looked at it, I thought it looks kind of weird because it looks like it's dying. It looks like it's crispy dying, like on the brink, do you know what I mean, towards the end. But also, it kind of looks like it was in a corner of the room dying while somebody's painting, and it's just getting splats of paint on it. That's literally what it reminded me of. But when it's sun stressed, oh, the red burgundy kind of, it's beautiful. It's really, again, this is another Hoya where it's just amazing on its own. Just by itself, it's amazing. And again, I wouldn't mind a cutting of this, whether it's one leaf, two leaves, just, it's beautiful. And I thought, yeah, this is definitely one that I wouldn't pass up, and I would love to have in my collection. Now, the next plant, a lot of people will know of. I've seen it a lot on Instagram, but it's all abroad because obviously I'm in the UK, so I don't really know anyone that has it, but I'm willing to do the search, willing to hunt, and that's the Alocasia Frydek. Now, it's the actual Frydek, not the Mitchellitsiana, because people, the green Frydek is actually the Alocasia Mitchellitsiana, but this is the Mitchellitsiana variegated, which is the Frydek, if that makes sense. So this plant I love. I've got a Frydek anyway, and I absolutely love it. So they have the variegated version with all different colours. You can see the hue of the whites, the creams, almost yellows, and it's just really beautiful. And again, with this plant, I wouldn't mind a little one and just to grow, because they grow fairly quickly anyway. Or even if I got a bulb, like a little bulb or a couple, and then, you know, you want to have more than one just in case one doesn't, you know, do what it's supposed to do, and just to let it flourish. And again, this would be in my plant room, like definitely, like definitely. So yeah, these are my Shooting Star Wishlist plants. And again, if you know where I can get any, throw them in the comments, hit me up on IG. If you like this video, do subscribe, hit the like button, tell other people about it, because they might be looking for something, and if someone finds it and puts in the comments, they then can be notified. Whether they're looking tomorrow, today, a month's time, a year's time, we never know. But for now, especially for 2021, dare to dream, live to grow, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.